Hello and welcome to Algebra 2 Lesson 3. Today we're going to talk about evaluation of expressions and adding like terms. So, you guys have already seen expressions like this, and what they're going to do is they're going to give you the values for x and y. Later on, this will just be like the last step in a problem, so you need to be really good at this now. -4. So what your job is that you're going to plug in the values for x and y. So if x is -2, in parentheses, you're going to plug in -2 for x, then you'll leave everything else. So we have squared times y is -4, so I'm going to plug in -4 minus parentheses -4. Then you will evaluate as normal. So what is normal? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. All my parentheses are simplified. Now I'm going to do exponents. So it's like 4 times -4 minus -4. Now I'm going to do multiplication and division. 16 or -16 plus 4. Now I'm going to do addition and subtraction. -12. Let's try another one, shall we? So for this one, we are going to evaluate something a little bit more complex. So we have a times -b minus a minus ab. If a equals -2 and b equals 4. Your first step, go ahead and plug in all of these values. So if a is -2, anytime I see an a, I'm going to plug in a -2. If b is 4, actually, I don't want you to do it that way. Just go as you write. That way you don't miss anything. So I have an a, now I have a parentheses, I have a minus, now I have b, which is 4. So I'm going to plug in 4 in parentheses minus a. If you do it this way, you will not get confused and, oh, is that minus that one or that one? If you put it in parentheses every time, then you won't be confused. Minus, now we have a times b. From there, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, I'm going to start with parentheses first. -4 plus 2 is -2. I have -2 in front, minus -2 times 4. Now I'm going to do multiplication and division. -2 times -2 is 4. -2 is a plus, 2 times 4 is 8, so this looks like 12. We got -12 as our last answer. All right, moving on. Now we're going to talk about adding like terms. This is a pretty quick lesson. It must have been a good day for golf for Mr. John Saxon that day. When we talk about adding like terms, it's like adding apples and oranges. If I ask you how many apples you have at home and you started counting apples and oranges, you would be lying, which is not good. Instead, you would only count the number of apples that you have, okay? In the same way, when we add like terms, let's try this one. I need to add up all the terms that have x, y, and put them together, because that's one type of thing. I'm going to add up all the terms that have an x alone, and that's another type of thing. And then I'll add up all the terms with just a number, okay? So, what terms have x, y? And I love putting like a little fun pattern underneath just so that I can keep track of which ones I've used. So this one has x, y, and this one has x, y in it. So now, I know the letters are x, y, the order doesn't matter, right? Because it's multiplication. Now, all I do is I take the number in front, so 3 minus 6 is -3. Now let's move on to another letter. The next one I see is x, and there's an x there. -2 plus 3 is plus 1x. So I don't look foolish because we don't really need that one. I'm going to remove it and just say plus x. Finally, looking through my list, the only thing I haven't used is plus 4. So these problems are pretty simple. The way you can show your work is by writing the original problem and doing like little underlining or circles or whatever you want to do to indicate that you've used each one. Let's move on like a cow might move. No, okay. Anyways, 3a to the -2b over c. Oh, it's a little more complicated now. Plus 7, a to the negative 2, c to the 1b, minus 4b, a squared over c. Okay, now on these really complicated ones with fractions, your first step is going to be move everything to the numerator. So if I move the c up, this becomes 3, a to the negative 2, b, and when I move something from the bottom to the top, I make this the power negative. Minus 4, I'll bring the a up, which would be a to the negative 2, b, bring the c up, c to the negative 1. You can't really tell now if these are like terms, but in this form, you can tell that they are. That's why we bring everything to the top. Here we have plus 7, a to the negative 2, c, b, minus 4, a squared. I'm going to change the order a little bit just so that I have them all in the same order. After I moved everything to the numerator, I can find out what are like terms. The Bible has an interesting story where, oh man, this one's kind of sketchy. So at the beginning, the workers went out to the field and they were like, oh, hey, look, there's some wheat, or there's some tares in the wheat, or basically there's weeds in the field. Should we go pull them? And the farmer said, no. You don't know yet which one is actually going to become good food and which one is going to just grow up and be a weed. Wait until it's ready for harvest, and then I'm going to separate. He's talking about the kingdom of God. You don't know right away. But as people live out their lives, the fruit is what you're going to see. You're going to see what comes out of their life. Here, right now, we didn't know what were like terms. I would never say that those two are like terms, but now that I've written it, it turns out that they are. So don't be quick to judge, but judge the fruit. So we have a squared, a to the negative 2, b, c to the negative 1. We have that there. And we have that one. Ooh, they almost tricked me. This is a squared, not a to the negative 2. So let us combine these. So 3 minus 4 is negative a to the negative 2, b, c to the negative 1. These two are not like terms because they have different powers on a and c. So I will write them out. And that is it. That, my friends, is Algebra 2, Lesson 3.